experienced seeing the economy change. Jim, over to you. Thank you.
Microphone.
Ni hao. Hola. The shape of the world economy, it's in terrible, terrible shape. We're going to have staggering changes over the next 15 or 20 years. The world's going to change more than any of us can conceive. You're going to have many institutions, governments, countries even fail over the next 15 or 20 years. It's going to be one of the most exciting and dramatic periods of world history. And most of the things that you know, that we all know right now, are not going to be true in 15 years, much less 20 years. There's a world map there, in case you don't understand some of the places I'm talking about. But you know, in the 1920s and 1930s, the center of the world moved from the UK to the US, exacerbated by a financial crisis and mistakes made by politicians. The same thing is happening now. The world is moving from the US to Asia, exacerbated by a financial crisis and mistakes made by politicians. If you look at that map, you'll see that the largest creditor nations in the world now are all in Asia: China, Korea, Japan, Taiwan, Hong Kong, Singapore. The money's in Asia, the assets are in Asia, the energy's in Asia. You look at the map, you know who the debtors are, and you know where the debtors are. The United States is now the largest debtor nation in the history of the world. Not just the largest debtor nation in the world, the largest debtor nation in the history of the world, and it's getting much worse very quickly. So you're going to see a lot more currency turmoil. You're going to see these imbalances of the assets in one part of the world and the debts in another part of the world. This is going to be played out in the currency markets. You're going to see countries having serious, serious financial problems, and you're going to see more social unrest, and governments and countries fail, as I said. At the same time, we're having a major shift within the world economy. Throughout history, we've had long periods when the financial types were in charge, followed by long periods when the people who produced real goods were in charge. In the Christian Bible, they were called the hewers of wood and the drawers of water, but the people who produced real stuff. And after that, we went back to long periods when the financial types were in charge. You all know what's happened in the last 30 years. Wall Street and the City of London, Hong Kong, Singapore have had great booms. Anybody who could spell finance made a fortune. Anybody who couldn't probably didn't do very well. But that's now changing. Finance is finished. All of us, I'm in the financial world, poor Francois was in the financial world. All of us who've been in the financial world are going to be suffering badly in the next 10, 20, 30 years. If any of you got MBAs, you made a terrible mistake or did the wrong thing. You should probably go and try to turn it in. What you should turn it in for would be an agricultural degree or a mining degree, because that's where the that's where the fortunes are going to be made now. The stockbrokers are going to be driving taxis in the next 20 years. The farmers are going to be driving the Lamborghinis. The smart stockbrokers will learn to drive tractors so that they can work for the farmers. Because the farmers, the miners, the engineers, those are the people going to have the money. Last year, America produced 200,000 MBAs, and the rest of the world produced tens of thousands more. By the way, in 1958, the world only produced 5,000 MBAs. So it's gone from 5,000 to 250,000 in that period of time. But in America, we produced 10,000 farmers last year and 200,000 MBAs. So all of you who got MBAs made a horrible mistake. You try to go down and turn it in for a farming degree while you can, because it's going to be the people who produce the real goods in the next 10, 20, 30 years. That's where the fortunes are going to be made. You can look at the map again. You'll see some countries are going to do extremely well. The people who are well managed and can produce real goods. Canada's going to do much better than the US. Australia's going to do much better than Belgium. I can show you, you can see the map as well as I can. But this is how one of the ways the world is going to change very, very dramatically going forward. And as I said, you're going to see Price of food is going to go through the roof. We've already seen some governments fail here. Iceland failed. Tunisia failed. We've seen a few places have serious problems. Just wait. Just wait till the price of food really goes through the roof, which it's going to do. So I would urge all of you to be very worried about the shape of the world economy. It's in bad shape right now, but it's going to get much, much, much worse. You're going to see some chaos, and you're going to see dramatic changes, the likes of which most of us have not seen in our lifetime. So on that happy note, I'm happy to take questions, and I'm sure everybody else is too.
Thank you, Jim. And, I normally call a lunch session after lunch a graveyard session. I think it's no longer a graveyard session. So before I open the floor to questions, just a very quick, I'll just try to very quickly recap and open the floor to questions. Clearly, two of our panelists are very worried about the state of the economy. Francois and Jim both talking about, of course, Francois started on talking